Thank you, sir. I'm really pleased to move that the Health Practitioner Regulation at National Law's South Australia Telepharmacy Amendment Bill be read a second time. This is an important bill that puts into place permanently some measures, or seeks to effect the enactment of a number of measures that were brought as a result of the COVID situation. Now, can you hold on 1 second, sir? I just need to grab a glass of water.
Very well. Minister, you have the call.
Yes, thank you, sir. Just for the House's benefit, I wasn't aware that we were going to move so quickly and pacily through the first bill, and replete with knowledge about this bill as I am fortunate to be, and I'm very enthusiastic about this bill. I am looking... Sorry? Well, it serves a number of things. It serves communities in regional South Australia and rural South Australia, particularly in circumstance where a pharmacist may well have a number of outlets, but they might not be able to be present at each of them for the entire opening hours. And rather than a community member who needs medicine urgently having to wait until that pharmacist is indeed able to be on site to dispense the medicine, this bill will provide the opportunity for those community members to receive the medicine they need urgently. Through this telepharmacy practice, which indeed will, I think, give a certain security to the community to know that it's being done safely, but indeed the pharmacist doesn't need to be on site at the moment things are being dispensed. So, in introducing the Health Practitioner Regulation National Law, South Australia Telepharmacy Amendment Bill, can I advise the House, as I think I've just enunciated pretty clearly, the purpose of the bill is to make permanent the legal provisions for the authorising of telepharmacy in South Australia. Spot on so far. Similar temporary provisions were supported by members as a part of the COVID-19 emergency response for the Measures No. 2 Amendment Bill. I'm not sure I need the notes. These provisions were extended with the passage of the COVID-19 Emergency Response Expiry No. 3 Amendment Act and are set to expire on the 1st of December 2021. Now, that aspect is why I needed the notes. Sir, I'll continue. Telepharmacy, actually, as I said before, is the provision of pharmaceutical care and products to a patient through the use of video and audio telecommunication where the pharmacist is not physically present in a pharmacy. This also includes the provision of medicines where the pharmacist is not able to receive and or provide the medicine to the patient personally, and therefore the provision of medicines is achieved through the use of telecommunications and information technologies to a patient at a distance. And now, sir, I'm very pleased to introduce further new information without any further repetition. In 2004, telepharmacy was provided in South Australia as part of the national trial to enable provision of care to rural and remote communities. More recently, telepharmacy has been provided on the understanding that it is not prohibited under the Health Practitioner Regulation National Law, South Australia Act 2010. This bill will consolidate the legislative base and provide the Pharmacy Regulation Authority of South Australia with clear and express powers to authorise telepharmacy arrangements under strict conditions. Clarifying the powers of the regulatory authority will also provide assurance to the communities that rely on these services. Telepharmacy services have been provided successfully in limited regional locations, which include Cleve, Cowal, Kimber, Crystal Brook, Laura and Gladstone. Under the provisions of the national law, the Pharmacy Regulation Authority of South Australia, or PRASA, as I'm told it's called, is responsible for the administration of Part 4 of the national law, which concerns pharmacy. PRASA is established under Section 27 of the national law and has a number of functions, including the registration of pharmacy premises, depots and pharmacy service providers, ensuring compliance with the national law and preparing, endorsing and publishing codes of conduct, which also have to be approved by the Minister. The bill will clarify the law in regards to the authorisation of the remote attendance of a pharmacist by PRASA. Since the national law came into operation, telepharmacy has continued on the understanding that it is not prohibited by that Act. This bill will provide PRASA with clear and express powers to authorise telepharmacy arrangements under strict conditions. There has been ongoing consultation with key stakeholders, in particular PRASA and the Pharmacy Guild of Australia, SA, in relation to the bill, which has led to further amendments and the inclusion of additional safeguards. The bill builds upon the provisions included in the temporary COVID Acts to ensure that the provisions allowing for telepharmacy are not misused to promote a new business model and to require compliance with PRASA's Code of Conduct. The bill provides that PRASA may only authorise the provision of telepharmacy services where the authorisation is necessary to ensure that pharmacy services are available to people who otherwise would not have direct and timely access to these services. This addresses any perceived potential for new business models for routine delivery of pharmacy services. PRASA recognise that the best practice is for a pharmacist to provide professional pharmacy services in person to a patient. However, in the event that a pharmacy is unable to open and maintain essential pharmacy services, for example, due to an outbreak of COVID-19 from within their staff cohort, telepharmacy services may provide a safe and appropriate option and allow isolated South Australian populations to continue to access pharmacy services without the physical presence of a pharmacist. Community pharmacists play an important role in the delivery of medication and other services to customers, and continuity of service is imperative. The bill also requires that PRASA may only grant an authorisation where it is satisfied that the pharmacy services provider has taken all reasonable steps to ensure that it will comply with the relevant Code of Conduct when providing services remotely. The Pharmacy Regulation Authority of South Australia has developed a Code of Conduct for this purpose. In addition, PRASA may only authorise the provision of telepharmacy services to a pharmacy located within an area prescribed by the government. This requirement was inserted as part of further amendments to the bill in the Legislative Council. As a result of consultation with the Pharmacy Guild of South Australia, the bill has also been amended to include that conditions on any authorisation for telepharmacy may be prescribed by regulation as well as by PRASA. This amendment provides another layer of oversight around the provision of telepharmacy in South Australia. The bill has been amended to include a penalty of up to $50,000 for providers who fail to comply with conditions of authorisation. The Commonwealth Government has moved to enable provision of medication review services through telehealth systems during the COVID-19 pandemic to ensure vulnerable patients can receive pharmacists to deliver support while remaining isolated from COVID-19. This supports the safety of patients and pharmacists and ensures continuity of care. Technology is enabling the enhancement of the safety and quality of healthcare for the community through access to pharmacy services where they would otherwise be unavailable. It is important that this framework is established permanently, and I commend this bill to all members